السلام عليكم ورحمة الله يا جماعة. أهلا وسهلا بكم. I'm just going to just ensure the mic is coming through loud and clear. Also, I'm just going to click live on the other platforms. So those of you tuning in, I'll allow you the opportunity to just click like and share. If you can, spread the barakat. Ameen. Right, so look at all of this. All right. Right, okay, so have I oh no, I've sent it in the see technology, huh? I've sent it in the wrong on YouTube. There you go. Right. إن الحمد لله وكفاه والصلاة والسلام على رسوله المصطفى وعلى عباده الذين ارتضى ومن بهداهم اهتدى وبآثار أهل المدينة اقتفى وبعد فسلام الله على القوم أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. Right, I see. Rayan, my nephew, how are you? I hope your father's well. I've got to come visit you guys. I can see all the comments. Okay. Spamming them. Okay, that's enough of the comments, Rayan. Rest of you, ahlan wa sahlan bikum. I take it you guys can hear me loud and clear. Got the regulars. Allah bless you all. Nabil Khan, kya baat hai? Ahlan wa sahlan. Claire, ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. I take it the volume's fine. Right. So, oh my God, Mufti's actually. Well, his father is, he's a brother from another mother, if you like. He's one of my very dear friends. Saj, since we've been 5 years old, we've been friends. So look at that. Been on many an adventure together, shall we say. So, yeah, so very dear to me, a brother indeed. So, and this is his beloved son, Rayhan. So, right, okay. Imi, ahlan wa sahlan. Sarah Malik, ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. Right. Today, people, another spectacular opportunity to engage somebody always very dear and near to my heart. And speaking of where we grew up, a sheikh from my from the days of youth and folly, shall I say, as growing up, Shaykh Sidi Iqbal. So I look forward to this opportunity as always. Whenever I get to converse with Sheikh, I'm just bringing you on. Shaykh Sidi Iqbal, Assalamu alaikum. So I think that let me just make sure the mic. Yep, your
Yeah,
mic is now loud
yeah.
and clear.
Wa alaikum
Ahlan wa
assalam
sahlan.
wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Shukran, Sheikh, for joining us today and giving
You're
us
welcome.
your
You're
time.
welcome, yeah.
Right. It's always, it's been quite a while since we've had a catch up, and you've been on,
Actually,
yeah.
no,
I was going to say a
we did
journey,
have
but
a
yeah.
no, we did have a catch up in January. When that Shia scholar was Dr.
What had happened?
Was it
Right. Yes.
Hobullah?
Yeah. Hobullah, Sheikh Hobullah. Yes,
Yes,
you're right.
January.
Yes, of course, we met at Shaban's. You were there,
Yes,
and
and
uh,
I walked
yeah,
away. I
Sheikh
had to
Hobullah.
I had to go early, and
Hmm.
I regretted leaving early. But the
Oh
thing is,
wow.
because I picked his brains, and that one answer to me gave me so much information. It was amazing.
Wow.
Um,
Your
I,
question.
I'll tell you what the question was.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know this. I ended up teaching an Ithna Ashari South Korean, the Risala of Abi Zaid al-Kairwani, for a short period of time.
Oh, teaching a South Korean Muslim
Yeah,
the
no, an Ithna Ashari,
an Ithna Ashari. Oh, a
South,
Shi'i South
yeah,
Korean.
Korean.
Wow. I didn't realize Islam's reached there, let alone Shi'i Islam.
And the thing is, I had again, anybody that wants to learn, I don't care about their background.
Of course, of course, of
because it's
course.
a learning curve. I'm learning. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of my reasons for teaching, is that
Mm-hmm.
you're learning. And what
Yeah.
I learned from him was that I had not, uh, um, my reading, Ibn Ashari history is not, expansive, but it's a fair bit.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he told me something that I had not come across, which was
Okay.
that the Usul al-Kaafi, the
Yeah.
Shia
Shia.
major work of
Yeah.
narrations. Um, the author Sheikh Kulaini, um,
Mm-hmm.
he wrote the work when their Imam, their 12th Imam, was in his minor occultation.
Okay, so he disappeared for the first
Yeah,
disappearance. Yeah.
the first disappearance. So
Yeah.
there was still physical contact
Mm-hmm.
with him through his, agents, which would
I
be,
see.
in our Sunni methodology would be, because for the Ithna Ashris, their Imam uh, and their companions are on par with the Rasul and the Ashab, authority-wise.
Okay. The
Author-
on par with the obviously the ashab. So the ashab are not going to. So the al is going to be above the ashab, but above the prophets as well. Did you
No,
say,
no,
or
no.
on par with
You've
the
no.
prophets?
You've. I'm talking about authority-wise, not
Okay.
their status.
Okay, not the status. Right.
The
Okay.
authority. So the authority of the Imam is equivalent to the Rasul, and his students are on par with the Sahaba.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because
Yes.
it
So
doesn't
as
make
in each imam, it's
yeah.
as if like what he narrates is tantamount or equates to a hadith almost of the
No,
prophet.
to them it is hadith.
To them, okay, I see.
To them
And
it
the
is hadith.
narrator is
Yeah.
as how we would see the Sahaba
S-
transmitting that.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I get it.
So
Okay.
you need to understand this before, otherwise it doesn't make sense what I walked away with. Because
Sure.
this South Korean student of mine, he told me that Kulaini did not narrate from any of the companion wukala, the ashab
Are
of
called
the
wukala.
yeah, the agents
Yeah.
of uh, their hidden imam.
Yeah. The 12th Imam. This
The
is the
12th,
12th one.
the 12th Iman, and this is the
Yeah.
minor, ghaiba, the minor occultation. So uh, I, I, I asked Dr. Hobullah, is this true? And he said yes.
Okay, so he accepted that.
No, he says
Mm.
that's, and I said why? Why didn't
Hmm.
he? He says, according to him, they were not, uh, uh, you know, uh, uh,
Thiqa or reliable.
reliable to take from. Now, to me, for uh, a Shia to accept that and voice that, to me, that it's like a Sunni saying, we're not going to take from the Sahab because they're not reliable.
Hmm. Wow.
Do you understand?
Yeah. No, I see. I see because I walked into that discussion. It had already started when I got there. You
Yes.
guys had already got into that
No,
discussion,
because the
and
thing is that what Dr. Hobullah did was, because within my living memory, the Shia uh, Hadith Renaissance, has occurred. Because Ayatollah Khoy, rahimullah,
okay,
the contemporary of Ayatollah Khomeini, but he was more knowledgeable than Khomeini. Ayatollah
okay,
Khoy started
great,
you can say a school of uh, um, Jaran Ta'dil.
okay.
Uh, and
As
he has a 4-volume work where he lays down his standards.
okay, Ayatollah
So
Khoy,
Ayatollah Khoy, and
Khoy. Hmm.
yeah, he has a big foundation in London,
Okay,
really big. Um, but Ayatollah Khoy, his students then applied that methodology. So
right.
Ayatollah Mohsen Afghani, Dr. I mean Asif, Ayatollah Asif uh, Mohsin
So there's
Afghani, he's still alive. He went
okay,
through, the corpus of
yeah,
Shia Hadith, which is over 100 volumes. The Bihar al Anwar,
yeah.
and he reduced it to 9 volumes.
Wow. Okay. There's a
So
quick question here. Sorry to
yeah,
interject there, Sheikh. That somebody had asked that, are you sure Shaykh Hobullah had said that, or did he say that they weren't fuqaha? I find it hard to believe Hobullah believes Kulaini thinks the sufara weren't thiqat. And he added,
again,
because scholars have said the sufara
it's a private
weren't fuqaha.
conversation, and he was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, that's sure. Yeah.
And where Hubullah comes in, because he said that Mohseni Afghani hadn't been stringent in applying Ayatollah Khoi's standards in
Mm,
authenticating uh, the 9 volumes. So
okay.
he went and applied stringently the usul of Ayatollah Khoi, and he reduced the 9 to 3.
Okay, I see. And a quick question on this, Sheikh. So,
Yeah,
when you say that Kulaini in his Kaafi doesn't transmit from the sufara
yeah.
of the 12th Imam, does he transmit anything from the 12th Imam, or can it only be through the sufaha and therefore he doesn't transmit from the? Is that how it works, or how does it
The,
work?
the, the thing is, there's a paradox here that, here
Okay,
you've got um, none of the, wukala uh, included in the Rijal.
okay.
But then the name Kafi is given by the Imam who's in hiding. Yakfi yakfi li Shiatuna, that it's enough for my
Oh,
Shia.
right. So he says he's al-Kafi li Shi'atina. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's where the name comes from.
I see. Okay, wow, that's
But
yeah.
uh, that conversation was very helpful for me,
Okay.
because the thing is that it, uh, if what Dr. Hubullah is saying is wrong, then someone
Mm,
actually needs to do a PhD or their masters or something. Again, it's only 3 volumes. Just go through them and see if, well, not the 3 volumes. Kulaini's work is not that big.
okay. Yeah.
So just look if there's
Any of the
wukala.
12 are in
No,
the sorry, any
no,
of
no,
the sufara of the
yeah,
12th Imam are in there, or the
are in there.
wukala.
Wukala
Hmm.
rather
Yeah.
than sufara.
Okay. Is there a distinction between sufara and wukala, or because the person here is using the word sufara repeatedly? I think they
I'm
do, and I
familiar.
think I've
Uh,
heard of the term sufara myself as well in the past.
I'm familiar with the word wukala because you see they were the wakil rather than
Okay.
rather than
His
Safir.
ambassadors.
Yeah, they were his
More
agents.
agents. Yeah, I
Yeah,
see what you
because
mean.
they went back and forth with questions.
Hmm. Yeah, somebody said here he has responded by saying, "Look, there's no distinction now." Shukran, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. Wow. So okay, that's really what a yeah what a way to get right into it. I suppose that was a fascinating discussion. I did really enjoy meeting Sheikh Hobullah. Really
mm,
amazing, intelligent genius of a man, and we had a great conversation. It did get cut short even after you went. I don't think he had to go as well, so there
oh
were a
right,
few other
okay,
guests that were turning up, and so
okay,
he obviously stayed longer than you, but he we got into our discussion on, because from the hadiths that we were speaking of, I think I asked him to expand on how does this jarh wa ta'dil or hadith criticism work within their tradition,
yeah,
and he was expanding, and then he was engaging well my Bukhari gate kind of discussion,
mm,
and it was good, and there was a with him as well the Imam of is it of of the local masjid in Birmingham. I've
okay,
got I've yeah I've slipped my mind now. Sorry, apologies. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it was a very engaging dialogue and conversation. So yeah, but wow, what a way to jog our memories, Sheikh. I love it.
yeah.
Since
No, it's
since
something
the,
that it's something like this sticks.
yeah, I
Because
see.
because I had with the Shia part of my family, this was
Yeah.
something that even they'd never even heard of, and they went back to their scholars and came back silent.
Because people may not know that your background and your many of your family are from Ahl Tashayyu, they are Shia, and you yourself kind of took your own journey, and so
Uh, y-
just
yes, the thing is that I ended up in Birmingham, and y- uh,
the blessed Birmingham.
Birmingham Sharif. Uh,
Yeah,
the thing is that you see our family, my great grandfather, his father was Sikh. So
right. Okay. Well. Okay. So your great grandfather, so his father was Sikh. Okay, as
see,
in
uh,
converted.
yeah, and
Mhm.
he was a Sunni. His name was Umar ad-Din. But then
Okay.
his two sons, my great uncle, the eldest son, was a Sunni. Then my grandfather was a Shia. That's how
Okay.
it came round.
So okay. Wow. So most of your family, are they today? I mean, not your immediate, from you, children, etc., but your, let's say, from siblings,
My sibling
brothers.
or my
Yeah.
siblings, they're all Shia. But then
Mm.
my sisters, my brother-in-law, so, half Shia, half Sunni, because the family was such.
Okay. It's the sushi kind of
Yeah,
dynamic.
yeah,
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So well, that's yeah, so it's because I think a lot of people may not be aware of that, and I wasn't aware to the extent. I know that I was aware that you'd kind of come from that journey, but I didn't
yeah.
know how
I'll
many of
tell
your
you
family
something
was still
really
there.
interesting, which you know, um, uh, I did go to
Mhm.
Clifton Road, the Clifton Road Mosque.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
uh, so I arrived in Birmingham from Newport in '78. So
Okay.
So 79, 1980, between that, I actually did go to the Shia mosque. I never knew anything about Shia, fiqh or madhab or anything apart from, the family culture was that, they would do what they do, what the Shia do. So I thought, I've got time, I'll go and learn. And went to the mosque, asked for the Maulana, they direct me to the Maulana, and I said, look, I don't know anything about the deen, I want to learn. So I fully understand. And the Maulana said, look, I'm busy at the moment, come back some other time. And alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, the other time never came.
It is, yeah, it is a journey of mysteries, isn't it? Life.
It is. And my father had a friend, not a friend, acquaintance, who he got me in contact with, and he got me going to, a Deobandi mosque, Tablighi mosque, and the nearest mosque to me was a Brelvi mosque. So
Okay.
I used to go between these two mosques, Brelvi
Mm,
mosque and Deobandi mosque. And I'll tell you another thing, which is the Deobandi mosque had an Indian scholar who had the gift of the gab. He would
okay.
he would mesmerize people with just the way he talked, and I pleaded with him
Okay.
you, to teach me,
Oh wow.
because I had this thirst to learn.
Yeah.
And he said, look, um, you, you're not going to stick with it. I said, look, I'm not working, I've got time, I will be a good student. And he said, what happens if you get a job? I said, look, I won't take a job. He just wouldn't teach me.
Wow.
So
God.
so that's the two that God saved. Uh,
You know, it's it's interesting how this journey unfolds, Sheikh, because
yeah.
you've got you see that imagine I'm just wondering, not this isn't in a way to kind of be dismissive or diss people. Everybody, is wonderful in their own way and they bring
Mm,
strengths and we all have weaknesses. But imagine now your journey with through a kind of Deobandi lens. What
yes.
you would have been just a different manifestation to who you are.
Yes.
And what's interesting is when I don't know if you recall when I'd started studying Arabic and when you
Yeah.
came back from Pakistan and you came back via Damascus and I told you, oh look, I think I was just 17 and I
Yeah.
told you I've been studying Arabic and I
Mm.
was about to go to a madrasa in the UK. I was about to go to either Bury or I think Kidderminster.
Kidderminster. Yeah.
And I asked you, I said, which should I go to? And you said
Neither.
neither. Oh, that's and I said, well, where should I go then? And you said, well, I stopped off for 2 weeks in Sham. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And why don't you go to Sham? And I thought,
Yeah.
what the hell? Where the hell is Damascus? I'd never. I
Yeah.
mean, I think I'd heard of it, but I didn't
Yeah.
even know where it was on the map. I and I remember you saying that, look, if not anything, your horizons in Arabic will at least become very, like they'll be strong,
Mm.
and that in itself, I guess for me in that way began a journey,
Mm.
which was. Yeah, then very different. Obviously, had I gone to, I don't know if I would have made the madrasa in Bury or Kidderminster, or
Mm.
if they would have along the way chucked me out, but it's just a journey, I guess. Wow. And
It's something really interesting about Damascus. It's uh, the brother that helped me and looked after me in Damascus, Sidi Abu Munir. He's in the UK now doing the rounds. He's Shaykh Sidi Abu Munir now, the Shaykh in
oh,
Tasawwuf.
wait, he's right. Is he the one doing the Ibn Arabi with Sheikh Asrar?
Yes,
The
yes,
Oh, I thought it rang a bell. I
yeah.
said, "Who is this
He
Sheikh
he he.
Abu Munir?" And this,
He's the
yeah,
khadim of Sheikh Abdurrahman Shagori, rahmatullah alayh.
oh wow,
Yeah, because he used to look after, and he's the one that uh, made sure that I met Sheikh Abdurrahman Shagori, and uh,
yeah.
uh, uh, he I travelled with him to Juma, and the du'as
You,
he made, it's amazing, amazing man.
wow,
Yeah,
Allah bless him. Wow, you have mentioned him to me
yeah.
on a
But
few
that's
occasions. Yeah.
yeah. But Sheikh Abdurrahman Shagori was again, it's the caliber of the Sheikh is his poetry while he was alive had reached the Maghrib.
Wow,
So to this day they
Sheikh
say this.
Abdurrahman Shaghuris.
Yes.
And I hear he would teach the Futuhaat of Ibn Arabi. This is what I heard, or would he teach
When
just
I was there, when I
generic
was there,
rules?
when I was there, they were going through in the gatherings. They were going through uh, um, you know what was it called? Kitab al-Lumma of
Okay,
Sirajuddin Tusi.
okay.
It's an amazing work. That work. Uh,
What is it? What is that again? What's the
في تاريخ التصوف.
okay?
But the thing is, it's one of the oldest complete works on tasawwuf that we have,
Hmm.
and so much of what he's quoting from is lost. But it's an amazing work. I'll tell you how important this work is.
Yeah.
The subcontinent, uh, just from Pakistan, there were two translations of it in Urdu.
Of the Lum'a or
Yeah, of the
of the
Luma.
Lum'a?
And
Okay.
before I arrived in Damascus, I had an attachment with the work because, you know, Dr. Nicholson, the Cambridge Don, uh, he was the first Englishman to bring it out of manuscript. He found all the manuscripts, brought them together, and then printed it. And then he did a summary English translation of it. Then his student, Dr. Arbery, you must have heard of Dr. Arbery. He translated the Quran,
Right.
A.J. Arbery. Anyway,
AJR. Okay. Yeah.
and he found a manuscript that Nicholson hadn't used, and a certain section of it was missing, and he printed that. And I remember, in the late 80s, I used to majority of my time before marriage used to be spent at Bristol Road, the Centre for Muslim Christian Relations, where the Mingana
Birmingham,
collect.
Birmingham Uni with
No, no,
it's
no,
kind of
no.
not the library.
It was part of the Cadbury's College. It's where the Mingana collection was,
Right. Okay. I see. Yeah. Yeah.
and I borrowed the book, and I copied it. Uh, I don't know if I still have it because I've got a couple of Arabic and the Urdu translations, but it's an amazing work because it presents, like, Sheikh Abdurrahman Sulami, in his Tabaqat al-Sufiya, because their attachment with the Ahlul Hadith, the
Yeah.
Imams of Hadith, the information they're presenting is by sanad.
Oh wow! So it's in that same style, the Hadithi
It's
style.
same style. It's Hadithi
Yeah.
style, but also that the information. It's a small book, by the way. It's not a big book.
Right. This is
Yeah,
the Luma.
the Kitab al-Luma.
Yeah.
But
Kitab
again, the UK has a history of it, because Nicholson, his mastery of what's it called, Persian, and then Arabic is second to none. The amount he translated into English, and then Dr. Arbery, he followed on, and Dr. Arbery's on record saying my Sheikh in Tasawwuf was Dr. Nicholson. And by the way, they never I've not come across any reference them saying that they had accepted the deen, but the way they write, translate, they present, it's as if they're Muslim.
Wow. Wow.
But the
There.
thing, yeah, the history of scholarship. Again, a lot of Muslims and Muslim students of knowledge will, put down, the people of what's it called, the Mustashrikeen, the Orientalists. But a lot of them were genuine people. They were really looking. It's like Dr. Arbery, he did say that if you read the forward to his translation of the Quran, he says there was
Yeah.
something that used to help him. He could feel the power that that was flowing through him while he was translating it. He couldn't pin it down. He couldn't say what it was, but he felt it.
Wow.
Yeah.
There are ways and things, and I suppose like just a guidance or an intuition. Even as you're speaking of Damascus, Sheikh, I was
Mm,
thinking that, look, how my very early part of my journey, with your help, began in Damascus. And I remember when I was there in my early, in the first few days, I was shown around, and we visited the tomb of Sheikh Muhyiddin ibn Arabi.
mhm,
And in the coming time, let's say the coming months, or there, where I was there for that first year, second year, and especially when I'd become Maliki as well, I didn't really like Sheikh Muhyiddin ibn Arabi. I hadn't really valued his maqam um, the way only very recently in my life it's dawned on me. And it's interesting that there was, even though I did go to his tomb on a good few occasions, several occasions we went, because we would be in Ruknuddin often. And it's just amazing. Like, I was just thinking as well that how certain chapters in our lives, like, we have no idea sometimes, maybe a barakat, maybe something special, like you're saying, that there are certain things, but they will connect at a much later chapter in your life. Like,
mm.
maybe you're not ready, maybe the time's not ready. I don't know. But yeah, I was just thinking about that when you were saying it. Mm.
The thing about this is that uh, that there's a couplet of Mia Muhammad Baksh rahmatullah alayh.
Yeah.
In Punjabi he says Mali da kampani dena par mashkan pave.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's uh, our job is to water. Yeah,
Yeah.
Malik da kam Pal pul lave, ya na lave.
Yeah. Even, Mia Muhammad Baksh, like I was thinking about, my whole kind of being
Oh,
drawn to all
sorry.
of
Let
this.
me. People who didn't understand, it's the gardener's job is to water and nurture the plants. It's the owner's job to, harvest the fruit or not harvest them. And what the poet is hinting to, Allah knows best. This is what I take from it. Is what
Yeah.
what Mufti has just said. It's the fruit will only fall when it's ready, when it's ripe. That's when it's harvested, or when it will fall. So when you're ready for that moment, then you will be gifted that moment.
Yeah.
You can try
No,
all your life, to get that moment, but you ain't gonna get it until
yeah.
you are ready for that moment.
Yeah, I was just seeing that the tomb you've got there of Ibn
Mm,
Arabi, and um it's even, with, as you were saying, Sheikh, even with Mia Muhammad Bakhsh,
mm,
Kari Sharif. It's something that I visited on so many occasions when I, from Damascus, went to Pakistan, just because of
mm.
my grandfather was very committed and devoted to all of this, and to the Pir Sahibs of Kotli. But I wasn't really into any of this myself, but I did go along on many occasions. I went to Kari Sharif, I went to the tomb of Mia Muhammad Bakhsh, and only in recent years have I really come to appreciate. And I've been seeing some of, and it reminded me, but like I was seeing online the tombs and stuff, and I remember actually being there. And it's just crazy, the dots and how certain things
Mm.
are connected in a way. Yeah, I was. So right, okay. Have you, with um the whole teaching, speaking of Ibn Arabi, I know there was, you mentioned Sheikh Abu Munir, and he was doing I think he was going over some books here, and some, I think a risala or something of Ibn Arabi, that
It's
because I got a poster.
Heritage Press have translated a small work, and they've invited him and his son over,
Okay,
um, and they're doing the tour.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. So, but is there something, your own journey with this, Sheikh? Have you? I know you were at, exploring previously the whole Futuhaat, and many years ago. I mean, you'd actually told me about it many years ago. I wasn't really too interested at that time. Has any of your learning, has any of your, journey on that, learning, reading, anything? Have you been doing any of that, or anything interesting you've come across?
The, I have the Futuhat. I have
Yeah.
not the edition I want, but it's Kutub al-Ilmiya, which is
I
not
think
the
I've got
best
the same
edition.
one actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you can
I thought it might
find
be.
an
Yeah.
edition edited by Ghurab
Okay.
al-Ghurab, that's the edition you should
Hmm.
go for, because that guy was the master uh, um, of the Futuhat. Uh, I am really, really bad with maths. To this day, for
Okay.
even for for us to fully, get the Futuhat to open up to you, you really need to know maths.
Okay. Is that because of the encryptic, the whole,
You know
his
the
kind of numerology and?
yeah, where how at every chapter opening, there's a verse, something in verse,
Hmm.
that needs to be deciphered, and it like he's condensed, the chapter itself in that verse.
Yeah. That's the editions that are
Yeah,
generally in print.
yeah.
Yeah, you've got that's. I'm pretty sure it's the same one I've got
It's
as
the same
well.
one. It's not
Yeah.
the ideal, but he has, other works. I have one work which I really love of his. It's he has a work on Dhunnun al-Masri, rahmatullah alayh,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
he everything that he quotes in there, he quotes it. Uh, it's like it's really a hadith work. Like everything is with sanad, and the work he's
Hmm.
quoting from, it's lost, which is you know Imam Sulami's work on the Ahl Sufa.
Okay. I mean, I've been very mesmerized by the fact that I've said this before on a few discussions wherever Ibn Arabi has come up, how much Sheikh Ibn Arabi quotes the Quran was Sunnah. It's not what like people say this kind of stuff all the time just as a to be nice, I guess, say, oh, such and such Sheikh is always quoting the Quran was Sunnah. But and I get that, we always it's like an accolade,
Mm.
but I was mesmerized to see how much he actually quotes it. It's just his way of looking at certain verses, it
Yes.
gives you a new insight. It's
Mm.
not just a theory, it's actually deeply
Mm.
anchored and entrenched in the Quran or Sunnah.
It's something you find that if not all, but majority of the Imams of Tasawwuf,
Hmm.
specifically from Andalusia,
Yeah.
they have this, you know, the insight they have in the Quran is shocking.
Hmm.
It's really, really shocking. It's you know, uh, it's a 3-volume work. Uh, I can't. I'm trying to recall the name, but
Yeah.
he's the Sheikh of Qadi Iyad and of
Okay.
Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi. Uh,
Hmm.
he has a tafsir. He has a commentary on the Asma al-Husna, and he's buried in Marrakesh. Um,
Okay. Hmm.
uh, Ibn Barjan.
Oh, Ibn Barrajan. Yes, yes, yes. The
Yeah.
mystic. The great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
The thing is
The
that
great.
you know this. I have a problem with the word mystic, but
Oh, do you
again,
not like? Oh, I think you
that's
said
just
that
me.
before.
That's
Yes.
just
Okay.
me. It's just from just
I'm curious. Why do you not? I actually embrace the word, and so I'm curious. Why
I,
do you have a distaste towards it?
what does it mean?
So, well, okay. So I would have thought it's linked to, I guess, the whole mystery and the whole people who seek out that they're on that path, people of that divine experience that isn't really about words. It's more, um, I guess, mysterious in its. This is how I understand it. So people who've walked that path. So I've not seen it as a problematic word, but I know you've said before that you have a bit of a distaste towards it.
Because it's what it means. It's you
Okay.
know uh, the whole. It's not that we don't believe in the ghaib. We believe in the
Yeah,
ghaib,
of course.
but
Yeah.
uh, but if it's dealing with the ruh, then spiritual is better
Hmm.
than
Spiritual.
mystic.
Okay. But I suppose people know what you're saying when you say the mystic tradition or the. I suppose to me, I translate the kind of Ahlul Dhawq, the people of Dhawq,
Yeah.
as the mystics, as in those who are after that kind of taste. So that's how I suppose just translated. But yeah, so you're saying Ibn Barrajan. Okay, wow, yeah, because he's very he's known for his
Here, the dictionary defines this as, this is where I have a problem.
okay.
Belief that union with or absorption into the deity or the absolute or the spiritual apprehension of knowledge inaccessible to the intellect.
That part is fine. That part is the latter part of a kind of like you have a kind of knowing that sometimes is ineffable. You can't put into words, but it's like a tasting. So they know without that certain types of knowings are not always articulatable. Like you can't articulate them.
How would you translate it into Arabic?
So so I
What
would
what would be the
use
Arabic word for
so
it?
so for me, I would kind of do that literary kind of crossover. So I would say like Ahlul Dhawq.
Now, Ahl Dhawq is not a problem, but
Yeah.
translate that now back into English. It's not
So
mysticism.
I would say mystics because I don't think there's a term that they use in English in the same way, except I'm kind of seeing it more as not so much the word, but what they're speaking about. So the
No, but
people
you
of
see
Dhawq would have been
no,
the
but the people of Dhawq are dealing with things that are tangible, not something that is intangible.
you wouldn't feel the experience is intangible, Sheikh, like the actual,
No,
the
but
kind of
the thing is, what the Dhawq? What is it? The Dhawq is Iman.
yeah.
Iman is tangible.
But I mean, I suppose from a perspective, but from a perspective, Iman is also, would you not say, of the ghaib, and it is because it's
Yeah, the
faith
Iman.
ultimately.
No,
Yeah,
the Iman is in Ghaib, but then the Dhawq of Iman, the deepest you can go
Hmm.
is where there is nothing but Him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That true. Now that is that not
yeah.
mystical?
No, but that is Dhawq.
Yeah, that's exactly 100%. I'm with that.
Yeah, no, but that is not mystics. It's something, because what you're beginning with is something tangible. It's just a deeper understanding of
Mm.
La ilaha illallah.
I see. I see. I mean, I see what you're saying. I think there's different kind of the way to translate mystic. I think there's a few, like the first definition given, people would
Yeah,
have problems with that. I
yes,
think the latter definition, because there's a
yeah.
few definitions of mystics, the others seem to be fine. Like people would, because it's more about people who see it as this kind of, knowing of God in a kind of mysterious way that is ineffable. It's not about, you can't always articulate this kind of sense of knowing that the way they experience. So really, it's about an experience, and this is why dhawq is an experience. So that's how I would join the dots. But
The
I guess, yeah, but
I personally would uh y- my way, because everyone has their own personal
yeah,
way, is that of it's how Sidi Hamza uh, molded us, was it's very Zaruqi. It's
okay,
it's very Sidi Zaruq, that it's your fiqh that
hmm,
governs.
right, okay,
Yeah,
I
because
see,
then you're safe.
yeah.
and
I see
and
what you're saying
yeah,
because
I,
there is,
with mysticism, it's
yeah,
too gray.
I see what you're saying
Yeah,
because the likes of I suppose, let's say we take this to be a spectrum.
yes,
Um, now within the path, within the Sufi tradition or the spiritual path, or even before it became a name, right from the Salaf, let's say, coming down, there will be, if it's a spectrum, there will be, you know, different, it's one genre but with so of many kinds and degrees of people, some who are far more mystical and maybe right on, on, you've got, and some maybe more center, or some even more, it's articulated in a way that it's more about, like you're saying, a a good, a virtuous kind of practice of how you practice virtues, how you practice good practice, islah in that sense. Yeah, so I could see that and there's many, there's, and not always do they agree with one another as well. So the likes of, some of the farther end of this path of the likes of Ibn Arabi, let's say, or you will have many of that nature, whether it'll be Hallaj, right, on
No,
that end, or I,
no. Y- uh, Again, my reading of Hallaj and of Ibn al-Arabi, they would
yeah.
be, people would think they were extreme ulama,
Oh yeah, no, they especially
rather
Shaykh Ibn
than,
Arabi
yeah, no, and Hallaj.
and Hallaj. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Again, uh, uh, Ibn al-Arabi, we have more of his works than we do of Hallaj. But the thing
Of
is, the
course.
stream is the same.
Hmm.
What flowed and what flows is the same. Uh, it's they never bed.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was always covered. It was never, you know, this literal meaning of mysticism.
You see, what I was so in fact I was discussing this in one of our Discord conversations just recently, that you see, with I mean, there's no I mean, I was Hallaj as well, clearly all of these people, I just wasn't aware. I mean, I don't mean it in any lesser sense, but I just wasn't aware of the kind of depths of, let's say, his kind of ilmi works. I know they attribute, I think, Kitab al-Tawasin to him, but, or he has that book, but I don't. But with Ibn Arabi, obviously there's a lot of philosophizing ideas, intellectual kind of cosmology, and he's just very, very extant and speaking on it. In fact, somebody had asked here about the a moment ago, and there was in the comments about some of his shuyukh, right through the Futuhaat. Is going through some of them, just taking a look, and you can see whenever he's transmitting hadith, on many occasions he's going through with asanid as well, and he's going back, maybe not all the way, but to his sheikhs and his sheikhs and his he is taking, he says he transmits Bukhari from the student of Abu Bakr ibn Arabi. And so that he kind of quotes him, and other people. But I was coming back to the point about Hallaj
No,
is,
before I forget, you know,
yeah.
Hallaj, Bukhari's student is student of Hallaj. Uh,
Oh,
I,
okay.
I, I, you'll have to remind me. I'll get you his name.
Sure. Okay.
And
You
and
see,
the thing,
with,
Imam Shirazi,
yeah,
the Mutakallim, who's a student of Imam Abu al-Hasan Ashari. Uh,
right.
uh, no, he's not a student, but he's Ashari. He uh, he has an aqidah that was translated into English, which he verified with Abu al-Hasan Imam Hallaj.
Well, I mean, I clearly believe that, Hallaj was from the saints of this ummah, and the tragedy that befell him, this kind of, it's likened at times by historians to that of Christ in a way. In fact, the Passion of Hallaj that was written
Mm,
by Louis
Massey.
Massignon, Also very in, the whole thing from the way that the kind of sense of the struggle, the calling to people, the betrayal to the crucifixion. Obviously not step by step, but there's a similarity with the suffering, the passion of the Christ and the passion of Hallaj. I was saying in my discussion that, when I started going into a bit of this stuff, Sheikh, I it resulted in some emotions and a kind of where I was quite upset with
Mhm.
the way he was, not just the way he was treated, but almost what I felt was the betrayal of the people around him in his time. This I only found ease in, recently when I was reading what Ibn Araby had to say about Hallaj. And then that kind of eased me up because I was originally this whole thing of the way his betrayal as well, even the not just the scholars but the whether we want to say mystics or the Sufis of the time as well had kind of, one could argue, betrayed him or turned it, I mean, to the extent that his death warrant is signed by Junaid al-Baghdadi as well. And you think, well, these people surely would have understood. So I struggled with this for a little while, not being able to reconcile it. And then I was going through some reading, and there was I was reading what Abu Bakr ibn, not Abu Bakr, sorry, Sheikh Muhyiddin ibn Arabi had to say about Hallaj. And he comments, it's in his Futuhaat, but this was kind of extracted from it. He's mentioning that he says that obviously he was a person, of the path, righteous, a saint. But he mentions that, you see, he was, he says that he was mistaken in trying to share this secret with a people that just could not ever fathom what he was going to say, and thereby precipitating a fitna. He says that, look, like these mysteries, this kind of kashf, this kind of having access to that realm, the imaginal realm, alam al khayal, most people, they can't identify with what you're saying, and to them it sounds like gibberish, and then you yourself can't articulate it perfectly, so you use words that may not be the best words to say something because it's ineffable. You can't really put it into words, the experience, and thereby, the whole قد حدثوا الناس قدر عقولهم, speak to the hadith, speak to people in accordance with their reasoning. Do you wish that Allah and His Messenger are disbelieved? And so when he was explaining all of this, like, to me, I don't, this is just my journey. Like, after ages, that kind of thing was extinguished, and I realized, like, like, I see what he's, he was saying that this concept of bawahu sirr, that he shouldn't have, this secret, this mystery, that you shouldn't try to express to certain people because you're just going to trigger a fitna of sorts. I don't know what your thoughts are on this shit.
2 points.
Yeah,
First one, about the death warrant.
yeah,
Something that the muhaddiseen have. When everything looks too good to be true, but
yeah,
something isn't right, it just doesn't sit right. What
yeah,
you do is you look at the dates, when people are born and dead, when they died.
yeah,
Uh, there is, so much misinformation that, we I put you have we have and people watching, we're living through uh, uh, a time when the truth is proven to be wrong and
yeah.
falsehood is proven to be right.
So much
um,
disinformation. Yeah,
so much disinformation. And what will happen is that, when historians in 100 years' time read it, they will be shocked how come people, got hoodwinked. And this is the
mm,
thing with them. When you have the state at play,
yeah,
Yeah, scholarship doesn't matter what scholarship it is, spiritual or temporal, they will be pulled along with the tide. And this
Yeah.
is what happened with Imam Mansur al-Hallaj. This adage that even Sufis transmitted. This is something I have been highlighting since the 1990s. The first time I heard this, what I heard from you was from Sheikh Noor, that Imam Mansur's death warrant was signed by his Sheikh, Imam Junaid rahmatullah alayh. Imam
Yeah.
Junaid died 4 years before Imam Mansur even trial begins.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the fact. That's a fact.
Well,
Just
okay.
look at
Okay. I don't know.
no. This is what I'm
Wow.
saying.
Okay.
That you see, Imam
Hmm.
Junaid, Imam Junaid, while when Imam Mansur left Imam Junaid and moved on to Imam Sahal al-Tustari,
Yeah. Okay.
and then he even left Imam Sahal al-Tustari. But the thing is, Imam Junaid dies 4 years before Imam Mansur does. That's one thing. The second thing is, none of the Quddat of Baghdad, the four of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, would find him guilty. The
Because they
final,
say he was kept in prison for years. I think, like, was it
yeah,
like
no,
9 years or something?
no, the real affair is that you see, the mother of the Khalif of the time
Yeah.
uh, was, someone who loved Imam Mansur. And because the mother had talked to the Khalif, the Ghulam Khalil, the prime minister, had he saw that he didn't have the ear of the Khalif, the mother did. Now he can't get rid of the mother, so he gets rid of Mansur
Hmm.
because the
Yeah. It's definitely
influence.
politics. I mean, it was
No.
because
This is what it is.
100%.
It's there.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, we know this is true. Ibn al-Hajj, the great Maliki
Yeah.
faqih,
Great Maliki. Yeah.
yeah, you read his Madkhal, wherein Rabi al-Awwal, go and read the section on the Mawlid.
Mhm.
Yeah. In there, he says Imam Mansur al-Hallaj was correct in his understanding.
Yeah.
And that's a faqih of the
Yeah.
Maliki school. And then, Qadi Iyad in the Shifa, whenever he says, Waqal al Hussein,
He's speaking about Hallaj, isn't he? Yeah.
he's speaking about, and Qadi Iyad is no ordinary man.
Yeah.
Neither
No, of
is,
course.
and the thing is, if he was, what, people say he was, there's no way people like, Ibn al-Hajj, and especially Qadi Iyad, will be quoting him. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, closer to home, one of, the great Deobandi elders, Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi, rahimullah,
Yeah.
he has a whole work on
Mm.
Mansur al-Hallaj.
Okay. Does he? Okay. I didn't
Yeah,
really.
in Urdu.
Wow. Okay.
And the thing is that, so many of the manuscripts have come to light. Louis Massignon had a hand,
Yeah.
and the great
He's done a great service to
no,
Hallaj. I
he
mean,
done a great service. But the
his
thing is that he the credit should be given where credit is due.
of course.
Alama Ulusi, the great Mufassir,
Yeah.
he is the
Mufassir.
one that helped Louis.
Hanafi. Oh, okay. Did he? Oh,
Yes.
wow. I didn't realize.
Because the thing
Yeah.
is, Louis didn't know where all the manuscripts were. It was Alama Alusi who helped him in getting access to that, and that's where the Deobandi thing comes in as well, through that same Hanafi thing. Imam Mansur al-Hallaj is bari, free from
Yeah.
everything that is thrown at him by Sufis and non-Sufis.
Yeah.
And the comment that Shaykh Akbar says, he
Yeah.
is a product of his milieu, of his teachers.
Yeah.
Because this opinion, this understanding was what was being passed on. And
When you're
this is
saying
what
this understanding, you mean the one that
the
this narrative?
yes, the narrative that Imam Mansur al-Hallaj had gone beyond bounds. He had said what he had bared the secret.
Yeah, bared the secret.
Now this brings beyond. I have a pet hate
Okay.
of this word secret.
Yeah.
Yeah,
قدس الله سره. That
sirra.
this sir.
Yeah,
What is this sir? What is
what
this
is this
secret?
sir? Did the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam have a sir?
Right.
Did the Sahaba have a sir? Did the Tabi'een have a sir? The one who was the most knowledgeable, who had taken the most knowledge. Even the Prophet said, I am the city of knowledge and Ali is its gate. He was asked up 10 times, did the Rasul give you anything that he did not give to the masses? I mean, to the general. He said, no. But my fahm is something else. And it's that fahm. And you know what Ibn al-Arabi brings forward, and Ibn Barjan and Ibn, all the others, Abu Madian and his name's Arif, Ibn Arif.
Ibn al-Arif. Yeah, Ibn al-Arif.
Yeah. And the others, it's that fahm. And I have the, Sirr, if it is, if they mean what, the Sufis mean by Sirr.
What are you understanding when they're saying the magic? I mean, the secret, this sir. What
Right.
do you? Because there's an understanding I get, and I'm wondering if it's similar to what you're.
I'll give you what Sahib al-Risala, Imam Khushairi.
Khushairi. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, please. Yeah.
The Sirr is, within us, there's this plane.
Okay. Yeah.
Where the divine and the finite, the infinite meet, like the isthmus.
Okay. The barzakh. Yes, the barrier.
The isthmus. No, not the barzakh.
Not that barzakh, but a kind of barzakh within us.
Yeah.
No.
Within us, there's the isthmus. There's the shore and there's the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the sea touches the shore.
Okay, but it is not the shore, but
it's not the shore. But the waves come and they go back. So
is
that
the waves here the of the divine? Is that or is the shore of the divine? Which one?
No. The shore is us. It's tangible.
It's us, yeah.
Yeah.
Tangible.
The sea, Bahrullah.
Is the divine.
Is the Bahrullah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's I love that understand. It's very mystical. So is that the secret of the experience? That is. So what's
Allah
the
knows
sirr?
best. No, this is Imam Khushairi. Yeah.
Okay, he's saying that.
What I have understood from the Shaykh Sidi Hamza's Shaykh. He said the Sirr is where the Shaykh accesses the Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam and gains spiritual help.
Say that again, sorry, just so I can.
So the Shaykh has access to the Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam. Yeah, and then there's aid that flows from the Rasul to the Shaykh. Yeah. So
this is a kind of like, you see that the Shaykh in that state of being embodies this mode of being that is the archetype of the Rasul. Is this is what I'm
No, no,
understanding from this? No.
no. It's something of the madad from the Rasul is flowing,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's okay. This kind of flow. Yeah.
flow from the Rasul through the Sheikh to the Murids.
Okay.
Yeah, which this is what the Sheikhs of Sidi Hamza's way understood,
Yeah.
that is access,
Yeah.
aid that flows from the Sheikh. I mean, from the Rasul through the Sheikh.
You see, I would see that in the same. I would see what I was saying. There is the same thing being expressed in different,
Different
um,
words.
in
Yeah,
different, yeah, in different
yeah.
kind of
But
ways.
again, it's uh, nothing here that I can see which would be a secret.
Hmm.
Do you see?
Yeah. So what I'm understanding a bit and is that what they're saying, or
Yeah.
this is my kind of apprehension, and I'd like you to chime in on it, Sheikh, is that you see that there is a zahir, there is a batin. Allah is
Of
the
course.
zahir, Allah is the batin. This
Mm,
explicit, implicit, and the implicit is, I suppose, is a dimension in and of itself to do with experience as well.
mm,
Um, Now there's certain, let's say, realizations or certain things that were, which are very spiritual, heightened, but that I feel that it comes back to that they can't be fully put into words, and they're not about. See, this is why don't mind the word mystical, because I help it explains this a bit better. That there is a tradition which cannot actually be taught academically, but there is a hope that we teach a structure and you just figure it out. Like you get this. So as if like we're teaching somebody to ride a bike, but we can't quite say this is how we can just give the method and assist, and the person just eventually gets it. So with this, let's say the ibadat, um, worship, salah, so many things, all of these things like the remembrance of Allah, the mindfulness, all of these things are kind of physical things that a person is doing. So somebody could technically do them and does nothing. Like, the Quran mentions people praying, but they don't really, they're not really praying. So, but what there's a hope that with this scaffolding, you will attain this inner state which you can't really put into words. It's more an experience. um so when some people have gone about trying to maybe articulate that in ways, and then they're going to say things which are going to always be elusive, so it's going to get confusing for people. And I'm not trying to judge, I'm just trying to say that this is what I feel they're talking about, this inner kafir of this batini dimension, this implicit, or the realization, is what they're referring to as the not the magic, sorry, the secret. So that's what I've understood when they say that, one should be weary of expressing the secret to. This is what this is, maybe I don't know. That's how I've been understanding it. So,
I don't have an answer for it, because the thing is that,
right.
you see, if I did have an answer for it, I would shut up.
Well, but there are, so like, look, like, let me chime in with something like a parallel from today. And I'm not saying, this is without a judgment of right or wrong or anything. I'm just giving, for approximation, to give a realization, to some understanding. You take something that is today, doesn't even have to be from, I mean, it's not from a religious necessarily realm. Take something like psychedelics as an example.
Mm,
Now, they can induce such an experience, that would be people would definitely give it the word spiritual, although maybe it's, I'm not saying it's necessarily spiritual in the same, but they would use these words. Scientists, other researchers use these words. But the people that undergo them, let's say they undergo this journey, they call it a trip journey. They would often describe a sense of, for example, non-duality, that they realize that somehow everything is connected, the sense of it transcends this ego, it transcends. But even though they give it words, they often say, look, this experience is ineffable. Like, you can't truly put it into words that when the other person hears them, they exactly know. Like, if we were to say it's 25 degrees today, a person would pretty much could, if they're aware of temperature, have a true to life realization of what we're saying and experience. Or if you said this person was exacerbated, this person was furious, this person was livid, this person was in a rage, this person was in love, this person was like, we understand these things, hysterical with laughter. But when we use these other experiences, most people wouldn't really have a one-to-one correlation to what they're saying. They might get some understanding, like, I think he's trying to say this, he's trying to say that. They can't truly understand it. So that's taking something like a plant. What would the actual experience of the divine? So it would be really so this is how I, as an approximation, would bring in something like that to say, well, you could take an experience like this, and when people talk about it, they're deemed like crazy people because of the experience they're having. People think this person's crazy. Like, you say, oh, all of nature's connected. I don't just mean in this sense, I mean in a real sense. And I mean, like, oh, we are not these, we are, and they use all this non-duality. We are part of everything, but we're the part. But it just sounds okay. Either sounds like hippie talk, or it just sounds nonsensical. People think it's either metaphor or it's like the person's just crazy. So that's how I relate this discussion in the Islamic thing as well. It's that when people say this, they're talking about experiences they've had that, fine, people will talk about them, but most people won't be able to relate to them. That's what I've thought. I'm not sure what you.
The thing is that, you see, you're talking about experience, but we were talking about Sirr. Sirr
Yeah, the
is,
secret.
yeah. Now, what the Sufis understand, what you're talking about is Hal.
Yeah,
Sirr
like an
is,
ecstatic. Yeah.
yeah, Sirr is something totally different.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't feel it's the whole
No,
gnosis
no, no,
of.
no, no. You see, even that word gnosis, I have a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just
Let's get all these problems out today, Sheikh.
no. The beauty of fiqh. When you've
Yeah.
spent so many years in fiqh, it's you want to know what the word means.
Of course.
Yeah, and the where the word gnosis comes from. No, it's
Christian
not.
kind of. Is it
Yes,
Christian kind of Greek
yeah,
heritage? Yeah.
Greek heritage. Well, the word marifa and ilm are
Yeah.
synonyms. We we
Yeah.
well we're talking about ilm. Okay, ilm can be on different levels, but at the end of
Yeah.
the day, it's still ilm. It's like,
It is. Yeah.
uh, I tell you, last week I got asked a question,
Yeah.
and it gave me a high.
Okay.
People think people are weird. You get a question and you don't need mushrooms. You just get a question. It gives you a high.
I have experienced many of those highs going down a rabbit hole of learning, I tell you.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
the question was,
Yeah.
when you die, when you're in the
Yeah.
barzakh,
Mm-hmm.
do you remember? Does your soul keep the memories?
Of
You
this
know,
world?
yeah, of your life. And
I would assume so. Yeah.
yeah, but the thing is, I didn't have an evidence. And the thing
Oh,
is,
right. Okay.
with me is if I can't back it up, that's just my opinion.
Okay.
And this is what gave me the high. So I said, look, I've got no evidence for that, but there is
Evidence as in, but wouldn't the whole discourse of the do we mean Islamic evidence? Because wouldn't the whole discourse of the Quran about, the akhirah, the hashar, the barzakh kind of sense, that they have an
no,
awareness of who they are and their
no,
history?
but the Hashr is, Judgment Day. That's not
Mm.
Barzakh.
You wouldn't consider it still a part of the barzakh?
No, the Barzakh finishes.
Okay, because I
Barzakh goes into the Day of Judgment, but it is
yeah.
not the Day of Judgment.
Okay, because I had come across some readings where they explain it. I suppose it's a theory, but they kind of philosophizing it as the hashar is an extension of the barzakh, but then the life after is a whole different dimension.
Mm,
So I was kind of
Possible, possible,
yeah.
but
But
again,
what you were saying, yes. So
yeah. So the evidence I did have,
okay,
there's kitab and there's hadith,
yeah,
uh, is that the soul does remember. The
yeah,
soul has a memory. Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Now, you know the thing that you were saying about, Sirr,
yeah,
uh, it, it has roots in this, what I'm going to share with you.
sure, okay. The
Uh,
secret.
yeah,
This is it, people. The secret is about to come out. It's about to be revealed.
yeah.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
when Allah, you, you know, you as a teacher, what would you test your students before you've taught them? Or would you teach them and then test them?
Sure. Sure.
That's what teachers do, don't they? They teach them
Yeah.
and then
And
they
then
test
test
their
it.
learning. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So when did Allah teach us that He is our Lord?
As in, قال ألست بربكم? Is this?
No, but you see, He's putting the question.
Hmm.
He's put the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
When did He teach us?
I suppose is it not an a priori? Is it not something that the souls just knew self-evidently
No,
that
but then
they?
He's put it. He's still taught us
Of course. The awareness comes from Allah. Obviously,
from Allah.
we don't
Yeah.
exist without Him. We are nothing.
Yes.
Obviously,
Yeah.
ultimately, it's
So
Allah. Yeah.
when did He teach us?
I'm assuming one would say when He brought us into a state of being. That state of being meant certain things, like it
Okay,
had.
but when was that?
So when the ruh was brought into an existence, it would entail an intelligibility of, like, it would have a nature that is intelligible
So
and
He's already
intelligent.
hardwired us to believe in Him.
But I wouldn't you see, it's not, to me, it's not about believe, but He's hardwired us in a way that we would know Him.
We would know Him. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we would know
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
Now, do we remember that?
Now we generally right, so here's the thing. We generally, from an articulation perspective or a memory perspective, don't know this to be true. But I feel that we have an inner yearning that does it's almost like a needle magnetic north, like towards God. It has a yearning, a pining for the divine. So I would say that we know it without knowing it.
Okay.
That's what
Now,
I would say.
the thing is, how is God known?
How is He known, or how does He
Yeah.
know?
No, how is He known?
Through an I mean, I don't want it to become circular by saying through a knowing of him. So through an awareness of him, you see, this awareness, I mean, there's two ways. One is we're learning through a learning about him, like an almost like an academic learning. It doesn't have to be as in we are taught Allah is like this, and this is information. However, I feel that there's a part that is just a knowing. It's not, it's very primordial to our being. Like when a person wakes up, they don't think like I just know who I am. I don't have to think in an information sense, oh, I am so and so, or I just know it. So I felt that, this khitab in the Quran, that i'lamu annahu la ilaha illallah, that know that there is one God. It's a directive to an inner knowing that we have, even though we're not aware of it. This is what I think. But
Okay.
what do you think? What are you saying, Sheikh?
No, no one teaches us to breathe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We just know how to breathe.
We just know. Yeah,
We just know how to breathe. Um, the thing that links that us to is with us. Again, it's linked anyway, but it's the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam: "Those that knew each other there
yeah,
know each other here."
yeah. They have a repulsion and an attraction to one
Shun.
another, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the what happened in Alastu was more than just Alastu.
And alastu, for people who aren't familiar, is of the verse that alastu, Allah saying, alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord?
Yeah.
Qalu bala. They said,
Yeah.
hmm,
So uh, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the hadith is Sahih Muslim, that the arwah were uh, hordes,
yeah,
hoarded together. Those that
yeah,
knew each other know each other here. And one of something that's sitting there on my hard drive for God knows how many decades is how many companions experienced this.
mhm. Okay,
You know,
well,
this thing of Sirr
yeah,
is they experienced it. They, eh, in English, they have this deja vu thing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And this is exactly deja vu.
A kind of ruh javu.
Deja vu. Yeah. There's, there's uh, the classic one
Yeah,
is that of, Salman al Farsi, radiallahu anhu.
okay,
And he was made governor of, Madian, modern
okay,
day Iraq. And
mhm,
this Tabi'i comes to see him, and he's made to wait. And
yeah,
uh, he's made to wait, and other people, are seen before him. And then, he's getting very fidgety. And then,
mhm,
Sayyidina Imam Salman al Farsi, radiallahu anh, calls him by his name. He's never met this guy before.
okay, yeah,
And he's shocked, saying, Sidi, how do you know me by name? He said, I even know your father's name. And I've known you before you came to this world. And to me, that was Dalil that, we have the Ruh remembers.
yeah. Two things I want to ask you, Sheikh, is in relation to this. One, right? So about this.
And you don't need mushrooms.
No, you don't need
You
mushrooms
don't
for
need
this.
mushrooms.
For this ruh javu,
Yeah,
we
you don't
don't
need
need
mushrooms.
we don't need magic mushrooms.
No.
No. So yeah, I mean this that sorry, what first one just more a statement, and second leading to the question that you see there are people that when we meet them in this world, undeniably there is there is a pull, an attraction. I don't mean necessarily an attraction. I'm not talking here about like a sexual attraction, which obviously is in its own place, but I mean like an affinity.
mm,
And there is a repulsion. There's sometimes I've met people that you will just so get on, like it's like you've known each other, but you
mm,
haven't known each other. And sometimes I've met people that there's no reason, like I'm sure they're great people, but they're just so heavy
mm.
on my presence. Like their presence is just so like heavy in an unsettling way. Like I don't like I want to kind of go, like I don't know, and there's nothing, they're not doing anything wrong. I've just felt this sometimes, and when I've read about it in the past and people have said, oh, have you, like I remember reading some of the imams, Imam Shafi'i speaking about somebody who was asking, have you ever, istathqalta, you felt the heaviness of people's presence,
Mm.
and I was just relating to this in the same way of this attraction and repulsion, and how the ruh um I'm assuming that also plays this hadith
No,
when it's saying that, it's playing a role.
that heaviness and that, attraction or affinity is that
Yeah,
of the ruh.
yeah. There is an affinity to people. You
Yes.
definitely feel it, and
Yeah.
equally there's a repulsion with some people.
Repulsion as well. And it's
Yeah.
places as well.
Places. Oh, with places. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, yes, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. I would have thought places, sometimes it's the people that have gathered in places that
Yeah.
have brought this kind of, we
Yeah.
would say barakat, but a kind of consciousness to that place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other question leading up about the ayah, I wanted your thoughts if possible. This alastu bi rabbikum
Yes.
qalu bala. أن تقولوا يوم القيامة إنا كنا عن هذا غافلين.
Mhm.
But you see, but that part of the verse then, that, that lest you say, afterwards, that, oh, but we forgot. Or, but it's kind of a bit inevitable in this dunya, that this forgetfulness, this ghafla. But Allah doesn't say, jahilin or kafirin, but ghafilin, that we did ghafla of this. But, an taqulu yawm al-qiyamati inna kunna, or is it an hadha ghafilin? But isn't that inevitable? Or is this Allah is just reminding us of the inevitable? Or what? How come? Because the first part of the verse is a postulate that Allah is saying that, alastu bi rabbikum qalu bala. Now, this is like undeniable to them. It's like a knowing, it's a priori. But then Allah says that, lest you say later on that, oh, but we were forgetful about this. So, I mean,
Yeah. It's how many hours do you sleep a day?
I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 on a really good day, maybe six
Yeah.
to eight, something like that. Yeah.
But after that, you wake up.
Yeah.
It's
But
that waking up.
one could say, oh, is this in a is it not a setup question, that
It's not a
because
setup. It's factual. It's
Hmm.
us. It's being awake and being asleep.
So it's inevitable that we will be forgetful of Allah in a
No,
way.
it's how our makeup is. How we are hardwired. We cannot be awake 24/7. He's not made us that way. He's
Yeah.
made us that we need physically we need to sleep.
So why? So is this? So this is not a reprimand. And
It's not a reprimand.
it's not a reprimand. No, no.
It's
It's
not
just
a
that
reprimand.
you
What
are
happens
forgetful.
to no? Because
Is it
even in the
almost like
ghafla,
a kind of, I don't know a better word to say it, but is it almost like a kind of endeared teasing then? Like, or is it like, I don't know a better word to say. Is it like that would you, that lest you say later on that we were forgetful about this ghafilin, which is inevitable, you will be ghafilin about
yeah,
this. So is it almost like an endeared way that
It's like, you know that غام على قلبي, you know,
mm,
or غين على قلبي, whichever wording you want. It's, the Prophet, did that used to happen to him?
yeah.
Did his heart get clouded?
I mean,
The,
yeah, in an emotional, but not a physical. I mean, we don't mean in a physical
no,
sense, but
but
yeah,
whichever
metaphor.
way you want to look
Yeah,
at it, it's, you know, if you look at the wording, you can
yeah,
only come to one conclusion. If you look at the wording,
yeah.
if you look at all the wordings, there's only one conclusion you can come up. Just as if you look at the dhahir of this ayah, there's only one conclusion you can come to.
Okay, sure. But I mean,
Yeah? Which is
what would
that,
you?
you're going to be ghafil. You're going to forget. I'm making sure
Exactly.
that, on that day, you can't deny it. The Prophet والسلام, how, uh, the people of God explain it, the urafa, whatever word you want
Yeah.
to use for them, they
Mm,
say that, it's, in proximity, because the Rasul والسلام, was just increasing so much in proximity. When he would look back, he would say, Astaghfirullah, was I in that position?
mm,
And where we are, it's like, the thing I said, we need to sleep. But
yeah.
even when we physically sleep, our ruh doesn't sleep.
Right. Yeah.
The ruh does not sleep, or
Yeah.
does
The
it?
ruh is not. No. No. I mean, in fact, because I would. I mean, you see, to me, ruh is actually. I use it interchangeably with consciousness. And so when we sleep, the unconscious mind, it's fully active. I mean, it's okay, the pilot's been switched off, but it's fully there. It's connected
Yeah.
to yeah. Hmm,
So it doesn't. And, the
yeah,
one that knew told us what happens to it.
yeah. I see.
And it's those memories that, our interaction, with others,
Yeah.
which has been happening from Alastu.
Hmm.
Because
They are a yeah.
otherwise, it does not make sense. Um, they were gathered hordes before they came into this world.
Yeah. They, I mean, that's how the verse explains it. That we
Yeah,
were, yeah, everybody was
yeah,
gathered in a way.
yeah.
Hmm.
So we have memories before this,
Yeah.
being caged
Hmm.
in this cage. Then, we're free, and it's not forgetting those memories.
Ah, I see. Hmm. I mean, this is also, it's interesting how some thinkers, philosophers like Socrates, he's also posited that that we've undergone a process which he calls anamnesis, where we've forgotten. By coming into this world,
Mm,
we've forgotten the let's say these knowables or whatever, these things,
mhm,
the truth and so on, as a process of entering this world. But as we encounter it, we recognize it because we knew it from before. Because he's trying to resolve the paradox that,
mhm,
Plato presents this paradox that if you didn't know something to be true, but when it's explained to you as the truth, you often know it. But he gives the example that, like, if you've never met a person before, how could you know that was the person? but when we come across the truth, we know it to be true. So his point was that this paradox, that how could you know it to be true unless you knew it previously? So they also came up with this, that we knew before coming into this world. And the coming into this world we've suffered this kind of anamnesis, this kind of amnesia, and we are then recollecting, through this process. But yeah, I just thought that it tied into what you were saying. But yeah, wow, this and Sheikh, this whole path and the Maliki Madhab, starting with Imam Malik and this whole path. I want to really there is clearly, like such a strong intertwined reality. But you, as somebody who, your much of your kind of learning life has been clearly embarked on both of these, this path of, I suppose, I won't say mysticism, but this spiritual and the fiqhi of the madhab of Imam Malik, the madhab of Medina. Yeah, I wanted your thoughts on that. How do you see these? Naturally, they obviously, it's all part of Islam. But how do you see these congealing, the kind of harmony between these? What would you say? What are your thoughts? Is it just arbitrary, or is it just like as any other, or is there something very special that comes to you about the school of Medina, especially?
The thing is, it's, you were talking about the philosophers. It's a very Aristotelian understanding.
Yeah,
The Madani understanding of the deen.
yeah.
Again, we don't need.
Do you think the Medinan is Aristotelian? Is that what you think that
Yes.
it
No.
is?
No. On this point, the
Oh,
point,
right. Okay.
the point that I'm going to make
Oh,
is
right.
that
Okay.
we, the Madani understanding is there's no separation between the ruh and the jism. It's one.
Okay.
You can't, separate, say, this is ruhani and this is jismani.
You don't think there is a difference, though, that
No,
there's.
no, no. I'm talking about the deen.
Oh, but, oh, right. Okay.
The Madani understanding of the deen.
Oh, of the Deen. Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, I thought you meant of the human.
No, no, no. Not
Okay,
of the
okay, okay,
human,
okay.
of the deen.
Right. Okay, of the Deen. Yeah.
Of the deen.
As in what you mean by that is when people say like tariqa and sharia and they
Yeah.
is this what we're talking about?
This is totally alien to Madani
Hmm,
understanding.
okay.
There is no separation.
Hmm,
I'll give you an example. Uh, you know, the incident where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stepped forward. He's leading salat.
yeah.
He steps forward
To
and
grasp
then
the.
grasps and then just suddenly drops his arm and steps back again. And
Yeah.
after the prayer, the Sahaba radhiyallahu anhum ask him, "Is that an extra addition?" And he's surprised, he's saying, "Did you see me do that?" And they
Yeah.
said, "Yes." And he said, "I, during prayer, found myself in Jannah and I passed,
I saw the grapes of
grape and I
something,
was
wasn't it?
just
And I
about
tried
to
to
grasp it. And then I
grasp it.
realized I was in prayer and that's why I suddenly dropped my arm and stepped back." Now,
Mhm.
that is Madani understanding.
That it is an infused reality. Both are.
Reality. Because,
Mm,
when I came up with this adage, if you can't experience the sublime in the mundane, you're not going to find it. Because you see,
okay.
prayer is something that is really precious.
Salah, yeah.
Salah,
Or dua. Yes, salah. Okay, yeah.
salat. Because you
Mhm.
see what happened to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam here, he's leading prayer. He's in
Yeah.
Jannah at the same time.
Mm.
Yeah, it's something. prayer, again, nothing of the deen is mundane, but people, all of us take salat very lightly. It's, everyone does it. It's not,
Yeah.
something, to use your word, is not very mystic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, but look where he
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Mm.
Then if you there's another occasion where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is praying the 2 rakat of subh.
Yeah.
No, the 2 rakat of fajr before salatul subh.
Before
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And
Yeah. For those who are unaware, the Malikis call the 2 rakat Fajr and we call the Fard Subah.
subh.
Yeah.
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 So the Prophet is in sajda, and the sajda is so long that some of the Sahaba think that he's died. Some think no, he's gone to speak to his Lord, like
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Moses did.
Yeah.
The third group think, oh, he's passed. And then he suddenly, there's another group that think we're going to miss, Salatul Subh. He suddenly comes out,
Mm.
and leads the Salatul Subh, and then says, whoever wants to stay, stay. And then he says, look, I was in sajda, and Allah was asking me what, tell me what the angels are, debating in the Mala
Discussing.
al-Ala.
Yeah.
That was in Nafil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the understanding that, it's, reading up, doing, extreme physical exercises, spiritual exercises, or, doing a lot of Quran or fasting or dhikr or whatever, is not going to bring something on.
It's a state of heart, a state of being you're in.
It's a state of being you're in. It's, a gift that Allah bestows upon you because of, your thirst for Him.
Yeah.
It's like, where I'm getting this from is Imam Malik radhiyallahu anh. This is the transmission we have from him. This rajul, this man comes to him and says, Allamani ilmul batin.
Okay.
Teach me the inner sciences.
The batin. What does he say?
He says, go and practice ilm al-dahir. He says, practice ilm al-dahir.
That sounds, see, just hearing that sounds like Imam Malik would say something like that.
Yeah. Now go and practice ilm al-dahir. Why? Because we know what happened with Imam Malik. When he went and started keeping company, the key that the Sufis have, I'll share with you. The key that the Sufis have is with men. They have men that can, first, they might be your companion from a lister. Might be. Because the Rasul ﷺ said there are men when they are seeing God, they make you remember God.
Yeah. True. Yeah, true.
And the other is that, with Imam Malik, it happened. He went and started keeping company with one of his sheikhs, Muhammad bin Jafar, Jafar bin Muhammad, sorry. Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, yeah?
Imam Jafar al-Sadiq,
yeah. Something physically happened to Imam Malik by just going and sitting in his majalis and taking knowledge from him, was that when he would do wudu, his color he would go pale.
Oh, okay.
And this was already the hal of Imam Jafar Sadiq. That when he would do wudu, his color would go pale as well, because this is what's transmitted from his grandfather, because his state was that as well. Ali bin Hussein, Imam Zainul Abidin, the same would happen. And when Imam Malik only did one Hajj, and he just tells you, the tutelage that he had with Imam Jafar bin Muhammad, radiallahu anhu, was that, when Imam Malik only did one Hajj, and he did it with Imam Jafar Sadiq.
Did he do? He accompanied Imam
Yeah,
Jafar on.
yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
And when they went into the state of Ihram, Imam Jafar Sadiq went pale. And Imam Malik turned to him and said, Sidi, I did not think that you were man of such, because you see, with them, to show your state, your spiritual state, was a sign of weakness. You controlled it. You did not, bear it. They were fully aware of these ahwal. And Imam Jafar Sadiq, goes, this is nothing. My grandfather, when he began, the state of Ihram, when he said, Labaik Allahumma Labaik, he fainted and fell off the horse. And he went pale and fell off the horse. And he was asked, Sidi, what happened? He said, I'm saying that I am God, I am present at your service. He says, what happens if Allah says, I have no need of you service? That very thought threw him off his horse.
It is such a heightened state of being that they,
yeah. So that's the Imam Malik, one of his teachers, state. And then, the state of, Muhammad ibn al-Munkadir.
Yeah, Muhammad ibn, the Rawi that Imam Malik transmits.
No, he's his teacher as well.
No, sorry. No, his teacher. Sorry. I'm mixing it up with the other.
Yeah. He's his teacher. And Imam Malik radhiyallahu anhu is on record. He said, when I would be perplexed, didn't know which way to turn, I would just go and sit in the majlis of Muhammad ibn Munkadir, and I would gaze on his face, and all my worries would disappear. And this is, the way of the people of Medina.
Yeah.
And this is, they did not separate it. It was not, this is one of the reasons why, just two men, two imams of the Sufiya, Muhammad Imam Dhunnun al-Masri.
Yeah.
He's an imam of the Sufiya. The Sufis say he's the first from us who, articulated about the Ruh.
Okay. Wow, I don't know that.
Yeah. And Imam Abdul Hakim,
Muhammad ibn Abdul Hakim. Student of Imam Malik.
The other student, he wrote to Imam Dhunnun al-Masri, stop this.
Okay.
Because people will be confused. And he is a direct transmitter of the Muwatta of Imam Malik.
Who? Dhunnun al-Masri?
Dhunnun al-Masri.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I remember Qadi Iyad speaks about him in the Tabaqat, and he has a whole biography on him. But I didn't realize he transmits the Muwatta.
Yeah, no, he's one of the Rawis of the Muwatta. The Mishki, is it Nasruddin ibn Nasruddin al-Damishki? It's a Hafil Ruwat al-Muwatta. He has it in there. Then, Bishr al-Hafi.
Yeah.
The great, Sufi of Baghdad, one of the companions of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal.
Yeah.
He's a narrator of the Muwatta. So he's someone who heard the Muwatta from Imam Malik.
Bishr al-Hafi.
Bishr al-Hafi. He's a Rawi.
No way.
Yes.
Oh,
because
wow.
This is the thing that you see. At that time, there was no tariqah.
Yeah.
It was men. You kept company with the men. And this is the
Yeah.
thing that, the something that the Sufis have kept,
Yeah.
something that is lost to others, keeping company. Uh, it's like, a magnet
Hmm.
will only pull, iron. It's not going to pull any other.
Yeah, no, it is so true. There's that the line or the poem of Abdul Hamid Adam where he says, "कुछ लोगों के बाज लोगों के मिलने से आदम अपनी हस्ती से मुलाकात हो जाती है." That
Mashallah.
it is true is because just by meeting some people they can bring either a heightened sense of yourself or maybe with some people of Allah even
Yeah.
that they can bring just by being in their presence by having that kind of
Mm.
knowing of them.
And
Oh yeah.
uh, the and this was the reality in Medina.
Hmm.
And this is something that, the madhab has never lost. Because, it's something that I call, the uh, uh, job description of the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam was, he came to teach us scripture, to teach us what we do not know, and wisdom, and he came to purify us.
Yeah.
So the tazkiyah, just read, the dua of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, when he builds the Kaaba and then
Yeah.
raises his hand, Allah sent from within them a prophet, that
Yeah.
dua.
That's
Uh,
fihim, yeah, Rasul. Mhm.
uh, and then, the final time this dua gets repeated is in Surah Jummah. It's really easy to look up. Surah Jummah is just one page. You can read the dua there. The tazkiyah is there.
Hmm.
The spiritual growth, making the ruh grow.
Yeah.
It's not just purifying; it's making it grow.
Growth, yeah. you know
Yeah.
Sheikh, with this one thing that and I want you to kind of chime in on this and your thoughts on it. You see, one thing I've really that has in recent years really dawned on me with this whole thing of like there is a flavor, there is I don't know if flavor is the right word, even an outlook or a lens on the whole deen, the whole thing, and that is one of divine love or this love at this kind of sacred love, um something that nourishes the whole, all permutations of it, then all iterations, like it's getting nourished from that, or because these very same things, you see, and this isn't about right or wrong, but although I suppose this what I'm saying, I'm assuming is the real way, but you could have all these same things but they still have a slightly different manifestation or a different experience or a taste based on this this kind of love. I saw this article flagged up for me recently. I follow, on academia on the site, so whenever I've got certain keywords, so they'll always show me an article, and it flagged up an article about 2 weeks ago on divine love according to different diverse scholars of Islam. And it was referring to how you're saying Ahlullah, the people of God, or it referred to them as the love theologians, the people of Ahlul Hubbal Ilahi or Ishq al Ilahi, or however, those, of, I suppose, these kind of Sufis or mystics, or these people who speak this divine love at all times. And it was contrasting how they see, because everybody in Islam agrees about love to God, in kuntum tuhibbun Allah. But then they contrast it with some thinkers, like let's say Ibn Taymiyyah or some other thinkers who also speak about, on some occasions, about the love of God. But what the contrast was that some people, like they quote Ibn Taymiyyah and others, when they speak of, and this is not saying that this is wrong, but when they speak of love of God, it's about, um, you know, doing the commandments. It's about a submission. It's about having patience. It's about ita'ah, doing ta'atullah, obedience to God, avoiding disobedience. When the others speak of love, they characterize it as an actual love. Like they're not saying these things are not things that shouldn't be done. Of course, they should be done. But they define this love as an actual kind of bewildering love. Like this thought of Imam Malik now in Medina, never wearing generally shoes within the city of Medina, even though I think I can't the exact number, they say maybe even possessed hundreds. When he'd passed away, they found like so many shoes that had been gifted and other sorts that he had. But that is a kind of a very sacred love that it kind of transcends words in a way. It's but it's something very it's so powerful and what are your thoughts on this, Sheikh? This whole the role of that, or is it just, or is that something, maybe is it just being exaggerated, or is that
it's not exaggerated. Love is real. It manifests differently. I grew up, I've grown old with this understanding from Sidi Hamza radiallahu anhu. He passed away in 2017. He would say, Al-Khalqu Ayalullah, Humul Bab aw al-Hijab. That creation are the dependents of God. They are either a veil between you and God, or they are a door between you and God.
Humul Bab am Hijab is
Aw al-Hijab.
Aw al-Hijab.
Aw al-Hijab. And the thing is, when you look at this, by the way, it's based on a narration. Imam Nawawi transmits it in his Fatawa from Abdullah bin Masud. It's when you're looking at when you look at creation, he's made it. It's his. It's his. And if you love him, don't you love what is his?
Of course, yeah. And
so
the fact that he loves his creation as well, like
yes,
immeasurably.
Yeah. Of course, he loves Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to a different extreme level, which is unfathomable by humans. It's really, really unfathomable. We can't fathom the love that Sayyidina Rabb has for Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because the thing you were talking about, secret, there is a secret in that as well. And that is a secret. But the love is real. How it manifests is different. Our understanding of that love is different.
I suppose at a level, it could be, for some people, it could be like the obedience, disobedience.
Yes.
For some people, it could be on a different maqam of actual,
level.
Radical love, like in a
radical.
sense.
It's Sidi Hamza would tell us, don't hate the Jew. Don't hate the Christian. Yeah. Hate, the enemy that is within you. Within you. The enemy that is within you, hate that. As for creation, they're gods.
Yeah.
So if there are gods, it's like, Muslims, we have this love for anything connected to the Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam.
Of course, sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Yeah. Now, what about what is connected to God?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's there.
right in front of us, surrounding us. It's
Mm.
like, the you love this. This is a teaching story that the Sufis have. Uh, Keep in mind, it's just a story, but uh, the fish in the sea,
Yeah.
they're
Mm.
always talking. So what they're talking about is, have you seen water? Have you seen it?
Mhm.
Have you tasted it? Have you touched it? No. So every fish that's what they're talking about. They're talking about water.
Mhm.
And then one day, one fish sees this shiny object. It bites on it, gets pulled out of the water. Just as it's leaving, it realizes that it's in the water.
Mhm.
And this is the thing, God surrounds us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that realization. We don't want to wait till, we die.
Yeah.
We want it now. We want that realization now, before we die.
Yeah.
And everything that is His is beloved. Yeah. Everything that is His is beloved. And the love is on different levels. Yeah. Just as, different members of the family, the love is different,
Yeah.
but it's still love.
Mhm.
And
And Allah's mercy, obviously, a manifestation of that love, in a way. It's in its truer sense, it's unfathomable to us. Like we understand some aspects, but we're not like as merciful as Allah actually is. The way, I mean, tying into this thing of how much He actually loves us, some interpretations that have been given. This is where I've read, interpretations of people like um, Sheikh Ibn Araby, and where they will speak of even somebody had asked a question here about something about suicide, and although everybody unanimously accepts it being haram, but his interpretation was uh, that this person was being so exhausted of this dunya, ibtadara, like he hastened to meet his Lord. And in that hastening, Allah's mercy is even more eager to meet him. And so it was just such a different, like such a lens of such divine radical love that we're not used to hearing, we're not used to seeing. I mean, many people, we think, there was somebody had asked here as well in one of the comments earlier on when we were mentioning Ibn Arabi, and I'm not sure if you want to go into that, but this whole point of the iman of, or this question of Fir'aun, and what I'd been reading on this mas'ala was that when we the Quranic discourse, it shows that there's two sides of this kind of, there is a narrative with two shades, if you like, or two sides. That there's a verse of the Quran that does say that, where Fir'aun is saying that, for example, amantu bi Rabbi
mm,
Musa wa Harun, and I believe in the Lord of Moses,
yeah,
and so
and
on. And
God says, Al-an,
Al-an, yes. So, that now that the truth has been kind of, that, it's got to this point, you've seen impending doom, like you're going to be destroyed. And the generic narrative in the Quran is that usually when people deny a prophet, and it's too late, the punishment comes, and then that's it. There's a verse saying that, when a punishment comes, that's it. But then there is a verse in Surah Yunus saying that, whenever a people denied the prophets, a punishment came, and even if it was too late, illa qawm Yunus, that except the people of Jonah,
Yes.
they came out and sought Toba, and we actually forgave them. So so you get kind of two versions or two sides of this, two parallels of this. And this verse of Fir'aun, that Allah says, فَالْيَوْمَ نُنَجِّيكَ بِبَدَنِكَ, that we will
Mm,
save you with your body,
mm,
لِتَكُونَ لِمَنْ خَلْفَكَ آيَةً, so you may be a sign for those who come after. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ عَنْ آيَاتِنَا لَغَافِلُونَ,
يغفلون.
that 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 many people are heedless of our signs. Yeah, they don't really take, they. So one general understanding that people took was that Pharaoh died and people, that Allah preserved his body, like physical, biological, the corporeal sense, and maybe that's the mummy in the museum now, and people can see the body, and
Mm,
this is a sign. And I was reading what Ibn Arabi had to say, and it wasn't, you see, because the verse of him saying, I believe in Allah and I believe, I believe in the Lord of Moses and the Lord of, that's a verse of the Quran, but it's just the timing. He's saying it now that, I've done all this wrong. I've even, I know deep down in my heart I'm not a God, but I've behaved as if I'm, told people I'm a Rabbukum Ala, and did all this, the greatest, the nth degree of shirk. And now that I see this impending doom, I say, well, actually, I submit to Allah. And so Ibn Arabi is saying, in what I was reading, he was saying that, look, what is this ayah that he is? What is this sign that Allah says he's made Fir'aun to be a sign? So he says one reading of this, like how many people are reading it, is that this sign is that if you do wrong, you will be, you'll get justice, will catch up with you. So you'll be dealt with. But he says that, but many people around the world believe that anyway, even if it, like, they actually believe that, if you, he says, if you go and ask many people, they actually believe that if you do like a lot of evil deeds, things will catch up with you. So, but Allah says that you will make you an ayah that most people are heedless of this ayah. Like they actually don't, they're ghafil of it. They don't actually turn to this sign of ours. He says that that sign was that even at such, you went to such despicable, Fir'aun did, of, he stooped so low, and did all these atrocities, throughout his life, especially, claiming to be a god, doing all of this. He got to this stage, and at that stage, when seeing this, he cried out to Allah, that even at that stage, the divine mercy of Allah apprehended him. That the sign was that never despair. But yet, most people won't think that Allah's mercy is that. Like they'll think it's glorious, but they won't think it's to that extent. So this interpretation, I mean, I found it very like, you said like that kind of high. It gave me that experience when I was reading it, and I thought, just what, like, just the concept. I'm not trying to say, people just chill out, do everything, whatever. No, no, no. But this concept of, we understand God's mercy to a degree, but to such a degree, even most people won't accept it. But yet, Allah's mercy is even more vast than what we. This idea kind of blew my mind. I just wanted to share that with you and get your, what you, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Sheikh.
I have no thoughts on Ibn al-Arabi's opinion. That is his opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's his opinion is there. There have been,
sure, yeah,
people defending it and
and
people, writing against it.
sure, of course,
The
of course,
the rule that God has given us,
yeah,
لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله.
yeah.
Don't despair.
So yeah,
And from the mercy of Allah. And the extreme, to me, uh, Fir'aun's iman is irrelevant.
yeah. It's irrelevant. I mean, I was just citing that as an
Yeah. No, no, no.
example of
Uh,
divine
the, the,
radical
the,
mercy.
the,
But yeah,
the extreme, mercy is that, Satan has been given a reprieve till the day of judgment. That's mercy of God. His wrath did not come down. Even, when God said in a hadith Qudsi that, my mercy will overwhelm my wrath.
Yeah.
This is the example that, Satan, he's become distant, Shaitan is distant from God to the extreme, but God has still given him a reprieve because he asked for it.
Yeah.
So,
But people should never, they should
never,
never, no matter
ever,
what.
never, ever. It's like, whatever situation you find yourself, God is there.
Yeah.
And never think that, you can get to such a low that, God will never.
That he will despise you, for example, or
No,
hate
God
you. Or,
will never. God wants you to come to him in whatever state and whatever you have done. What he wants you to do is recognize that he is Lord and that you come to him.
yeah.
Knowing.
And in most verses of the Quran, when Allah is saying things he doesn't like, it's always la yuhib.
Yeah. He
Yuhib or
doesn't
la yuhib. He
Yeah.
doesn't say as in like hate and use these. He says he does not love.
Yeah.
Or he loves this, or he does not love such an act,
Yeah.
or such a people who do this act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that, you see, it's the mercy of Allah that, our choices, he creates them. Our choices, whatever our choice, without judging that choice, he creates it.
وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا إِن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He creates it. And then he does not judge us for that. And then he doesn't punish us for that choice. And the thing of Fir'aun, and on that day, on Judgment Day,
Yeah.
he doesn't judge us for our choices. Wherever we end up with is not because of our actions. What's the position? Illa bifadlillah.
Yeah, except by the grace of God.
Grace of Allah. It's his mercy that, from beginning to end, it's his grace. That,
And is
we're
he's
breathing.
treating us as we're, because there is I suppose, regardless of, but this this mercy is a manifestation. It ties in, it's interlocked with the concept of Allah's love for
Yes.
us. He loves us in bewildering ways that we can't, we just cannot get our head around. But in turn, our dhan of Allah, our kind of mindset of God, because people, that this ihsan or dhan that Allah saying that I treat my person as he expects me to treat them, like having, like coming to that thing that, look, Allah loves me, like he loves me in ways that he is bringing things, he's doing things for me, he's getting, like having this mindset, this is also part of the healing process. I mean, Allah would still regardless love us, but in a way he's treating, is he treating us as well in some way how we're expecting him to treat us, like in the hadith?
He's treating us right from the word go. It's something that, last month, Sidi Dr. Taha Abdul Rahman, he was in Turkey.
The
And
philosopher,
yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I shared the lecture on my Facebook page. This Malaysian brother subtitled it. You know, we were talking about Alastu. He says,
Yeah.
we had absolute freedom of choice.
Hmm.
He gave us, even then, he gave us the choice without, judging.
Yeah. That am I not?
Am I not? He didn't say, he gave us the choice. We had full freedom to choose him even then. So,
Hmm.
the mercy has been manifesting from word go. The best way, I can explain it to you is go to the seaside,
Okay. Mhm.
go to the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just not what I expected as the
No, no,
way,
no.
but okay.
No, no, no. Go to the beach. No, because you need to
Yeah.
connect and experience something.
Hmm.
Because uh, people, some people won't go and sit with the Sufis. They won't go and do dhikr with them. They, eh, but you go and sit in the beach. Go halfway where the waves come and let the waves overwhelm you.
Hmm.
Physically experience the waves, overwhelming you, coming over you, and then leaving, and coming over you, and then leaving. And that is what is happening with, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It comes in waves 24/7.
Yeah.
And 5 times a day, he says,
Mhm.
look, you can experience it.
Hmm.
You can fully, you know, be aware of those waves. They're surrounding us 24/7.
Yeah.
Different levels, different, some people get tsunamis.
Yeah.
Totally
And
knocks them out.
and I was saying that this I like even more like sometimes people uh, they allow like a greater, I don't know, that maybe Allah has it in a way that the more they have this mindset of Allah, the greater the doors expand of this rahmah that hit them. I mean, the rahmah is always hitting them, but some people they don't allow a certain acknowledgement of it. They don't allow a certain, so maybe from some things they've kind of deprived themselves with an outlook. Like they like some people become negative people. They're very negative, they're very, and bad things are always happening to them. They it's almost like we were speaking of this attraction and repulsion, that they're always like miserable, always like thinking, and oh, this is, and now this has happened, and now that's happened, and some people, they always, that in all circumstances they have this positive outlook of Allah will always bring khair to me, and you see that
And
Allah
people
is
should
always
go and
bringing
sit
khair.
with them. Yeah, people
Yeah,
should go, miserable people should go and sit with those happy people.
yeah, because it
Or
is contagious.
it
It
is,
is
it is,
it is
it is.
contagious. Yeah.
It is. Sidi Hamza
So
would
true. It is
advise us that,
contagious.
if you are not moving, spiritually, go and sit with, fuqara of other cities.
Because that is so true. It is, this kind of, I don't know whether it's a magnetism or a light or whatever, but people, this vibe, this energy, this frequency, people, it is contagious. Like people, when you're around people who are positive, you become a more positive person. Yeah.
It's, you were talking about the secret.
Yeah.
Uh, so the secret is this, that God is known through men,
Through people. Yeah. Yeah.
through people. The
Yeah.
heavens won't open,
Yeah,
and
I'm
he's
just
not
saying,
going to,
just in case people might think, oh, only men, not women. Is that what some people might think?
no, no, no,
Nowadays we have to
no, no, no. Men includes women.
it includes women.
Yeah.
And on a
And in,
side note, we'll ask you that if that how Ibn Arabi says women are even of a higher maqam in certain ways. But yeah, I don't know if you
well,
some.
the ishara to that is, how did Wahi begin? And where did it begin? And with whom did it begin?
Okay.
Where was the Prophet?
What do you mean? Like in the womb? Is this what we mean? No,
No,
we mean
no.
as in
Physically.
physically in the cave?
No.
As in, okay, what do we mean?
Come on.
I don't know. What do we, when did
With
Wahy
Sayyidah
begin? As in
Khadija.
Iqra?
No, where he began as dreams. He started
Oh,
seeing
yes. Oh, yes. He
people
says I
in
start to see in
dreams.
Bukhari, I started to see
Yeah,
dreams before the
yeah. And then
with
he
Khadija.
started seeing him physically.
Radiallahu anha. Yeah.
Yeah. And who was he with?
Khadija. Radiallahu anha.
Salamun
Yeah.
alayha.
Yeah. Salamun alayha. But
Yeah.
yeah, and there's a verse which, and a take once again of Shaykh Ibn Araby on when Mary was born, Maryam.
Yeah.
And in the Quran, when her mother says, there's almost like an apparent, there's like a reading of almost disappointment in saying, "Oh, in
Yeah.
Rabbi inni wada'tuha untha." I
So, yeah.
wanted to kind of devote my
Have a
child
boy.
to sacred worship, so I could send him to the temple, but I've given birth to a girl, and it says that that Allah is a'lam bima wada'at. Allah knows. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى.
Kal-untha.
Yeah, now the phraseology, the style of how it's said, it's measuring the male to the female. Whereas if you're following the logic, you do it the other way around. So if you were doing the logic of, because there's the disappointment in the voice of the mother of Mary is almost with an assumption that a male would have been better. So with that line of reasoning, it would have said, "Walaysa, untha kadhakar," but it said, "Walaysa dhakar kal untha." It kind of giving an ishara that I was reading that Ibn Arabi was saying that the ishara is that the untha has a greater maqam for receptivity of this kind of spiritual state, if actualized, of course. But so he was saying this, and also tying into why the one reading of the Prophet saying, "From the most beloved are women," in his hadith, that this kind of state of a potential for a state of being that they have, and also the rahim being from the word Rahman, being a derivative of the merciful, the soul, I mean the womb being that. But yes,
So what's the soul? What gender is the soul?
oh, in Arabic it's feminine. You're right. Yeah, I never thought.
There you go.
And so is the nafs. So is the self. It's
So
feminine
it's
as well.
just,
Like,
yeah, it's feminine.
never. Yeah, I mean the nafs. I thought, yeah, but the
Yeah,
ruh, I didn't. Yeah, it just
yeah,
wasn't in
yeah.
my forefront.
It's feminine.
Yeah, but you were saying that it's the people. The secret is the people.
It's the
They.
people. It's the company. And it's
Yeah.
it's the secret that flowed from Medina.
هم القوم لا يشقى بهم جليسهم. That
Yes.
hadith, though.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one who keeps their company is
Yeah.
never.
And look at the first community. We don't call them Muslims. We call them the people who kept company.
The ashab, sahaba.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kept company with the Rasul.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the interesting thing is, we don't call the tabi'een ashabu ashab. We call them
Yeah, we
those
do.
who followed their way of keeping company.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, Ibn al-Qasim, going back to, the Madani link.
Yeah.
Ibn,
Imam Malik,
yeah,
student. Yeah.
Ibn al-Qasim, he said he was with Imam Malik for 21 years.
Yeah.
So he said, I took adab for 18.
Okay.
And I took fiqh for 3. And he said, I wasted 3 years. I should have taken more adab.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So the thing of company is
Yeah.
the key.
But there is
Could-
a, yeah, there is a kind of trans person, there is a kind of energy, this kind of, that is between people almost, and it's carried, it's picked up between people, it's carried between people. It's a, like a trans person, as in an above just one person. I don't mean a trans person, but a transpersonal experience. Yeah.
it's
Phenomenon.
you, you, you go to the gym.
Yeah.
So you're a regular at the gym, so
I am.
you'll notice that people will say this needs working, or this needs working,
Yeah.
or yeah,
Mm.
people can
Yeah.
see the level of your fitness, or
Yeah. Yeah.
and people can see where there's work needed,
Yeah.
or where maintenance is due. And this is the thing with company on the spiritual path, that you see people can see your spiritual progress.
Mm. That they have a kind of insight, a kind of knowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how the Imam Fakahani, in his
His,
I think it's
Ta-
Shara on the Arba'in.
yes, yes, yes. Tajuddin al-Fakahani. He has.
Fakahani, the great
Yeah, I think
Maliki.
I've got. I think I've. Yeah.
When he's commenting on, the Hadith Jibreel, he says that the ulama, meaning of the madhab, they call it Sunnah.
Okay.
This riwayah is called Sunnah. Why? Because it
The
encapsulates.
Iman Islam Ihsan one. That one.
Yes,
Or
it
yeah.
encapsulates the madhab, and it shows, because you see, when Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam gets up and walks away, there are different Sahaba who narrate this. I prefer the wording of Abdullah bin Umar on the definition of ihsan, but again, that's a side issue. The I'll share it with you in a minute.
Yeah, because I was going to say, what is the wording? But yeah.
I'll share it with you in a minute. But the important thing, where the Madani thing comes in, the school of Medina, is that Sayyidina Abdullah bin Sayyidina Umar radhiyallahu anhu is asked, do you know who the questioner was?
Yeah.
And Sayyidina Umar says, Allah and the Rasul know best.
No
And he
best,
says,
yeah.
that was Jibreel, who came to teach you your deen. So the Iman Islam Ihsan is deen. You can't separate one from the other. You can't, be ignorant Sufis and just jump into tariqah without having the foundations of the deen, Iman and Islam. If you do not know what you're doing, you got nothing to do on the path. You need to know your deen and then traverse it.
Yeah.
And the definition of ihsan that Abdullah bin Umar transmits is ya'mulu lillahi ka'annaka tara, not ta'budu lillahi, ya'mulu lillahi.
Ya'mulu. Oh, right. Okay.
It just the thing we were talking about, that everything is God's.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
ya'mulu
Ibn
lillahi.
Umar's.
Yeah,
Okay.
ya'mulu lillahi ka'annaka tara.
Yeah.
Work
Right.
as if God is in front of you.
Yeah.
Whatever you do it as if God is in front of you. If not, then God is watching you.
It's a state of being once again, isn't it?
Yes,
It's
yes. But it's, if you look at Imam Malik's book, it has it begins with Wuqut as-Salat,
yeah.
ends with Kitab al-Jami',
Kitab al-Jami'.
Why it ends with Kitab al-Jami'? Because the science of tasawwuf was not known as a science. When it becomes a science, look at, every major work within our madhab.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at, the foundational one, the syllabus that's given of the Western Malikis. We begin with Al-Akhdari.
Al-Akhdari, right,
Yeah. Now, Akhdari begins with correcting your, heart. While, the second one, Murshid al-Mu'in,
Yeah.
again, he has Iman, Islam, Ihsan. You go to the Risala, again, you go to the end, is the same. See, the next work is Sidi Khalil.
No.
Sidi Khalil's work is not, he didn't complete it. But if you go to, the one of the last abridgments, Kutub Dardir's Aqrab al-Masalik.
Aqrab al-Masalik, yeah.
You read the last section, he says your dhikr should be to such a degree that it becomes the blood that flows in your veins and, the muscle that is on your skeleton. That, your awareness of Allah should be of such a degree.
Yeah. And with dhikr, would you see it as twofold? As one, dhikr is to pronounce, to say, so like dhakara shay'an, like to say Allah, Allah's name, Allah's dhikr. And the other, it also carries the thing of dhakara shay'an, as in had in his mind and heart to be mindful of Allah. So would you see as both, or only because when people say, because I feel both dimensions are part of the dhikr of Allah, if that makes sense. It's just sometimes we don't hear as much of the mindfulness side.
The Prophet ﷺ said, do dhikr till you become ratab al-lisan.
Yeah.
But so your tongue should move. The whole understand your mind remembering Allah is not a problem, because the ideal is that when the tongue and the heart becomes one,
the synchronicity.
So whatever you understand what the heart is it your mind, is it your soul, is it your your very being, whatever you understand it, when it synchronizes, that everything becomes one. It's like you must have come across Sultan Bahu's very famous couplets on this. What are they now? I can't recall the Punjabi now, but it's that his guide has planted a plant within the heart, and it has flowered, and it has flowered to such an extreme that it is flowered in every vein. And the dhikr has to overwhelm you. It's if you love God, then the love needs to overwhelm you. It's either it's lip service or it's true love, and when it is true love, it manifests on you. They've got this adage in ye divana hai fulan ka. Yeah. But what that means is, he can't stop talking about so and so.
Yeah, to be crazy about, in a loving, like as in, I suppose the whole concept of Majnoonu Layla and this whole, which is a trope always used, is to give us an example.
And there are hadiths to this effect that, do dhikr till they call you munafiq, do dhikr till they call you mad. but
Mm,
but true dhikr, not for show.
yeah.
It's something that uh, we were taught, right from the beginning, by senior students of Sidi Hamza. It's that the dhikr has to be for God and God alone and nothing else.
Mm,
Because people will do dhikr for, if I do this I'll get this, or if I do this I want this. No, it's if you really truly want God, then you'll find him in front of you. But if it's for other than him, then he's not created two hearts in one chest. There's only one. You're
mm,
either his or other than his. He's a jealous uh, God. It's like
mm,
any lover. If you really truly love someone, you don't want them, even looking at anyone else,
mm.
let alone being with someone anyway.
Yeah, and I feel, and is it in a way as well that you see, if it's like you then put up this by not loving God in the true sense, you put up a veil by which you don't really get to access because if we look at that hadith of my servant my person continues to get closer to me and closer to me
Mm.
until he does good deeds and he does this and he does that until it says you see fa kuntu aynahu
No,
allati yubsir
no, until I love him.
yeah sorry until I love him and when
Until
I
I
love
love
him
him.
yes until I love him
It's the love.
yeah and when I love him you
Yes.
see it says I was the eyes by which he saw and the hands by which I
Yes.
guess until the love didn't happen he didn't realize it that Allah
No,
was
he
those
doesn't
things
get overwhelmed.
already yeah
It's the love that overwhelms.
no.
And this is the thing
And
I was saying, go to the seaside, let the waves overwhelm you.
yeah I've and once again that I was reading that verse kind of expressed by Ibn Arabi where he reads alladina amanu ashaddu hubban
Yes.
and so those who have faith are people of the most intense love. So he's kind of, I suppose, just doing iqtibas, just reading it to there. But I thought, wow, like that's such an like when I
No,
read it, I thought,
they
wow,
they do that a lot.
yeah, I thought, what a perspective. Shukran,
No
Sheikh.
problem.
I know I've taken so much
Inshallah.
of your time today. It's
Inshallah.
been an
You're
absolute
welcome.
pleasure, and really, Allah bless you, Ameen, and for taking
Uh,
out this.
my message to all watching, listening to you,
Yeah,
never, ever, ever forget he wants the best for us. He only wants the best for us.
yeah,
And uh, you forget that, you forget him.
mm,
And the thing is, the whole reason for life is to love him because he deserves to be loved.
yeah,
He deserves it. But never, never, ever, uh, be wary of him and his mercy.
Ameen. Yeah.
Yeah. And never forget the story of the fish either. It's helped me. It's helped me because
Yeah,
he's with us 24/7.
yeah,
24/7.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a quote I shared today. I mean, it's attributed to Rumi, but the meaning was the same thing that we have this image that God is watching from above, but
No.
he is from within. It was
Yeah.
saying that
No.
he's actually
He,
seen from, he is closer to you than your own being. It's
no.
not,
He says, "Aina tadhhabun?"
yeah, where are you going?
Where are you going? I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. So, shukran
You're
once
welcome,
again,
yeah.
Sheikh. Right, we'll
Inshallah.
catch up,
Anyway,
inshallah, very soon.
inshallah. If I've said anything that's upset people, please forgive me. But
No.
inshallah, because people get upset, people don't understand. But at the end of the day, uh, Imam Junaid's this alim came to Imam Junaid and asked him, "Where's God?" This debate, "Where's God?"
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The one today, nowadays, as in
Nowadays. So
recent
this
times.
happened, over 1,000 years ago. So he came to Imam Junaid. He says, "Imam Junaid, where's God?" He called his maid, the woman
Yeah.
that worked in the house. He says, "Can you answer him?" He says, "What's he asking?" He says, "He's asking, where's God?" He says, "Al-an kamakan."
Yeah.
Yeah. He's now
Yeah.
where he's always been.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's us
Yeah.
that needs to be with him.
Yeah.
We need to be with him. And you look for him, you'll find him. He's not far.
Yeah, it's
He's
and
not
it's.
far.
I remember Aziz Mia in his Kawali thing saying that where he caricatures this person going around saying, "I'm finding God, I'm finding God." He says, "Kya kho gaya khuda ke dhoondta firta hai tu?"
Yeah.
Was God lost that you were trying to go and
Yeah.
find him? He was always there. But
Yeah.
yeah, shukran. Yeah, Allah bless you,
Oh,
Sheikh.
before we finish,
Mhm.
the famous hadith of Haritha. Uh, you know, it's the words of the Rasul that I want to end with. That the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam hadith on Sahih. Uh, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes to the mosque and finds Haritha. Haritha bin Malik is a very famous companion of the Rasul.
Okay.
The Sufis have stuck to this narration more than the others. So, uh, كيف صبحت يا حارثة? How does morning find you, Haritha? And
Mm.
Sayyidina Haritha says, Mu'minan haqqa,
Allah.
a true believer.
Wow. Yeah.
And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, every statement has a reality. What is the
Mm.
reality of your statement? He says, in the day I thirst for him.
Allah.
In the day I thirst for him, and in the night I spend time with him. I see his arsh coming towards me and the angels going round. Before he who could go any further, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Arafta falzam.
Allah.
Arafta falzam.
Falsa.
And that's my message to you. Once you know him, stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, inshallah. Wa alaikum
Shukran.
assalam wa
Shukran.
rahmatullahi ta'ala
Alaikum
wa
assalam.
barakatuh.
Right. All of you as well. I will leave a connection, a link for Shaykh Sidi Iqbal in the description. If you do want to reach out to him, you can do. Shaykh Sidi Iqbal is often he's available on Facebook, a legend, a gem of our times, and, somebody I've immensely benefited from. Other than that, if you want to reach out to me, you can DM me on Instagram. I do try to respond to people there. Do leave a comment in the YouTube video of just your thoughts. I do enjoy reading the comments. And if you want to book a one-to-one consultation with me, you can do by heading over to patreon.com/Malm, and you'll see it there, and that also allows you access to my Discord group, which you'll find the kind of details there. I'll just put it into the comment section as well. Patreon.com/Malm. Allah bless you all, bless your journey. If anything, like Shaykh Sidi Iqbal said, if anything here was said that has caused somebody a discombobulated experience, or like some uneasiness, then the purpose of these things is to explore. It's not to hurt or to cause that kind of emotion, but that we are on a journey and exploring. Allah bless you all. May bless your journey. Salam Allahi alaikum wa khuda hafiz.